Time, the one asset you can never buy back. I used to believe that money was everything. Honestly, in my younger years, I dove into the world of business like a starving animal chasing power. I worked 16 to 18 hours a day, slept in my office chair, ate whatever I could grab. I even forgot my own birthday once. What I chased was money, status, recognition, a place on the leaderboard of successful entrepreneurs. And I got it. The money came. The bank accounts swelled. I bought the jet, the mansions on 3 continents, the designer suits, the cars, the press coverage. But there was one thing I could never get back: time. You can't earn more time. You can only choose to use it wisely or waste it. This might sound cliché, but hear me out. Time is the only thing in life you cannot buy, borrow, save, or store. Once it's gone, it's gone. I thought I was investing my time for a better future, but really, I was spending it on things that didn't matter. Every hour I poured into a pointless meeting or a show-off deal was an hour I'd sold off, a moment I gave away from the only life I get to live. I remember one of my kids asking me, "Dad, are you coming to dinner tonight? Or is there another one of your important meetings?" That hit me like a punch in the chest. I never thought I was choosing work over family, but the truth was, I had been. For years, without even realizing it. Are you using your time to live or just to survive? I've sat with people in their final days, business partners, friends, even past employees. And you know what they often say? "I wish I spent more time with my family. I wish I had lived more true to myself. I wish I wasn't too busy to enjoy life." No one ever says, "I wish I attended more Zoom calls," or "I should have replied to more emails." Time either gives you the freedom to live or the regret that you didn't. The problem is, most people don't realize they're wasting it until it's too late. The question that changed my life: is this the highest value use of my time right now? I learned this from an old mentor, an ultra-private billionaire you've probably never heard of. He told me, "You don't need to do more. You just need to do the right things at the right time." From that moment on, I developed a habit, a filter for every decision. Is this the highest value use of my time right now? And let me tell you, it's eye-opening. When you answer that question honestly, you'll begin cutting out dozens of low-value things that are quietly stealing your life. Things like meetings you don't need to attend, pointless small talk, and just checking in messages, mindless scrolling through social media, watching episode after episode because you're not sleepy yet. Every minute spent on things that don't matter is a minute you're stealing from your dreams, your health, your family, or your deeper self. The hard truth: you're not too busy. You're just prioritizing the wrong things. I used to tell myself, "I'm too busy." But the truth is, I wasn't busy. I was just giving priority to the wrong things. Eventually, I learned, being busy doesn't mean being effective. A packed schedule isn't proof of progress. Having lots to do doesn't mean you're living a valuable life. You can go very far in the wrong direction, and every step just takes you farther from where you truly want to be. So what should you do now? Here's what I would tell my younger self. Every morning, write down the 3 most important things to do, and do the first one immediately. Everything else can wait, be delegated or dropped. Turn off notifications, limit social media, batch check emails. You don't need to be instantly available for everything. Ask yourself 5 times a day, is this the best use of my time right now? Each honest answer will save you hours of wasted time. Review your week. Are you spending your time on the life you want, or just reacting to what shows up? If the answer is no, change something. Time doesn't rewind. Final thought: use time like it's the last currency you have, because it is. I once thought I was smart because I made a lot of money, but the truth is, I only became wise when I started treating time like the real currency of life. Carefully, with purpose, always aiming for long-term dividends, health, happiness, legacy, presence. You can lose money and earn it back, but one day gone, is one day you'll never get again. So use your time like it's the last, most precious asset you have in your hands. Speed wins occasion. Why urgency is the game changer. Let me tell you something you probably won't hear in business school. Speed is a competitive advantage. I don't just mean fast decisions. I mean fast execution, fast follow-up, fast action. In my world, the world of deals, deadlines, and demand, the people who move fast win. You don't need to be the smartest in the room. You don't even need to have the best idea. But if you move faster than the rest, you'll beat them. Every single time. The most valuable skill in today's world isn't knowledge, it's speed of application. Let me make this clear. We live in an age where information is free. Everyone knows what to do. Everyone has access to the books, the courses, the podcasts. But why are only a few people winning? Because most people take too long to act. They hesitate. They overthink. They wait for perfect conditions. Meanwhile, someone else just does it. When opportunity knocks, you don't get points for recognizing the sound. You get rewarded for opening the door, fast. Move fast, not because you're rushed, but because you're clear. One of the biggest misconceptions is that speed means panic. No. Real urgency doesn't come from anxiety. It comes from clarity. I move fast, not because I'm stressed, but because I know exactly what I want, and I refuse to waste time getting there. You don't need to rush everything, but you need to stop delaying the important stuff. And trust me, the most successful people I know all share this one habit. They act quickly on what matters. Success rewards the fast, not the hesitant. Let me give you a real example. Years ago, I was in talks to acquire a small company that had incredible tech, but was struggling financially. I did my homework fast. I ran the numbers fast. While other investors were still thinking about it, I wired the money and sealed the deal. That company is now worth 40x what I paid. You know what the other guys said later? Yeah, I was looking at that deal too. Exactly. They looked. I moved. The 80-20 rule of time. Most of your impact comes from a few bold decisions made quickly. 80% of your results will come from 20% of your actions. You've heard that before, right? Now let me give you the version no one tells you. The 20% that changes your life, it's not just about what you do. It's about how quickly you do it. Speed multiplies results. You send the proposal today, not next week. You follow up on the lead right now, not after lunch. You write the pitch now, not once I feel inspired. Success is urgency in motion. People who hesitate lose energy. People who act gain momentum. Every time you delay something important, you create friction. You add weight to your mental to-do list. You lose energy. You build resistance until the task starts to feel overwhelming. But when you act fast, you gain confidence. You build flow. You create momentum. You don't need motivation. You need movement. Train yourself to ask, what's the most valuable use of my time right now? Then move. This question changed my life. I use it every day. Whenever I'm not sure what to do next, I ask myself, what's the most valuable use of my time right now? Then I act, immediately. That one question has made me millions, because it cuts through noise. It kills procrastination. It pulls you straight. Speed isn't about rushing. It's about refusing to waste your life. Look, I'm not telling you to run around like a headless chicken. I'm telling you to stop wasting time pretending that thinking about it is productive. It's not. Every moment you stall, someone else is taking the action that you're avoiding. Every delay is costing you something, an opportunity, a deal, a connection, even your confidence. You don't need to do everything fast, but the important things, you need to do them now. Want to stand out in any organization? Be the one who gets things done fast. Let me give you something practical. If you want to be indispensable in any company, do this. Respond quickly. Deliver early. Follow up before being asked. You'll rise faster than anyone else. Why? Because most people drag their feet. They stall. They need reminders. If you're the one who moves fast and delivers with quality, you'll be trusted, you'll be promoted, you'll be remembered. Speed builds reputation, and reputation builds wealth. Your future depends on your ability to move fast today. The life you want? It's not waiting, it's passing by, minute by minute. You don't need more time, you need urgency. Urgency makes the difference between a life of potential and a life of progress, between a dreamer and a doer, between someone who talks and someone who achieves. You want to succeed? Stop waiting, move, now. Focus on yourself. Live with intention, eliminate the noise. There's a quote I used to ignore in my younger years, but now I live by it. If you don't focus on yourself, life will focus you on everything else. If you don't know who you are, what you want, or where you're headed, then the world will gladly decide that for you. It will hand you its own version of goals, timelines, and definitions of success, and none of them will have anything to do with your truth. I spent years trying to please others, and the price I paid was my own life. There was a time in my career when I wasn't living for myself, I was living to prove something. To friends, that I was successful. To my family, that I was worthy. To society, that I was a somebody. I wore what they admired, bought what they respected, closed deals I wasn't passionate about, just to earn a nod of approval. And you know what? I had everything except myself. I lost my sense of identity. Each day I became a polished version of someone I thought I should be, but inside I was empty. And the worst part? I wasted years chasing a dream that wasn't even mine. The world is loud. You need inner quiet to hear yourself again. Everything changed when I took a solo trip. No phone, no emails, no one else's expectations. I asked myself, if no one judged me, what would I do? If I had nothing to prove, how would I live? If I only had 5 years left, am I living that way now? The answers shook me. That's when I started tuning out the noise and tuning back into myself. I began decluttering my life, cutting out meaningless obligations, limiting draining relationships, and saying no to anything that depleted me. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's your responsibility. An empty cup can't pour into anyone else. You can't give love, passion, or purpose if you're running on fumes. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean turning your back on others. It means you honor your values, you protect your energy, you invest your time in what truly matters. And when you're whole within, you can finally give authentically, without resentment or burnout. Set boundaries, declutter, protect your space. If you don't set boundaries, people will drain your time, energy, and attention by default. I learned to say no to invitations that didn't align. Log off social media when it distracted or discouraged me. Audit relationships and only keep those who inspired, challenged, or supported my growth. Ask yourself, does this person, situation, or habit help me become the best version of myself? If the answer is no, let it go, without guilt. Don't live by expectations. Live by vision. Expectations are noise. Vision is your compass. What are you chasing right now? Is it your dream or someone else's? Sit down and write your life vision. No edits, no filters, just what you want, if no one was watching. Once you have vision, you stop following the crowd. Stop comparing. Stop apologizing for your path. You begin living with intention. Every decision you make carries weight and clarity. Final thought. When you live for yourself, you show up better for everything else. It took me 15 years to learn what sounds like such a simple truth. If you don't spend time becoming yourself, you'll waste your life performing for others. Don't let that be your story. Refocus, simplify, realign. It's never too late to return to who you were meant to be. Don't wait for motivation. Let action lead the way. A lesson from someone who built momentum before they ever felt ready. Let me be real with you. If I had waited for motivation to do the hard things in life, I'd still be broke, overwhelmed and stuck in a cycle of excuses. I used to think successful people were fueled by constant inspiration. You know, the kind of people who wake up at 5 a.m. every morning, eyes glowing with purpose, heart full of fire. That's nonsense. Motivation isn't the cause of success, it's the result. Waiting for motivation is a trap disguised as self-care. I hear people say it all the time. I just don't feel like doing it today. I'm not in the right mindset. I need to wait for clarity. Let me tell you this, the longer you wait for the feeling to come, the more your goals drift into the distance. You're not tired, you're uncommitted, you're not confused, you're just stalling. You're not lacking motivation, you're lacking momentum. Action creates clarity, clarity creates confidence, and confidence fuels action. People ask me, how do I get out of a rut? I tell them the same thing every time. Do something, anything, immediately. Write the first paragraph, send the email, put on your shoes and take that walk. Open the damn document. You don't need to know exactly where it'll go, but movement, any movement, is how your brain says, okay, we're doing this. Let's figure it out. When you act, even imperfectly, you start to feel more in control, and that control breeds clarity. Suddenly, you're no longer stuck, you're building momentum. Your future doesn't need more plans, it needs more steps. I know people who have been planning the same business idea for 5 years. They've got notebooks, whiteboards, Trello boards, mood boards, but they've never launched anything. Why? They're addicted to the fantasy of progress, not the pain of actual movement. You don't need the perfect plan, you need a bias toward action. When I started my first company, I didn't know 80% of what I needed to know, but I knew how to do the first 3 steps and I did them. Every single day, I just kept doing the next thing. Guess what? That business made 8 figures before I ever figured it all out. The difference between amateurs and professionals? Pros work when they don't feel like it. You think I felt motivated every time I had to fire someone? Or write a contract at midnight? Or deal with a failed launch in front of my team? Of course not. But I did it anyway, because I don't rely on motivation. I rely on discipline. Professionals show up when it's boring, when it's hard, when it's inconvenient. That's what separates the successful from the almost. If you want motivation, earn it through action. Motivation isn't something you wait for. It's something you earn by keeping your word to yourself. You want to feel inspired? Keep a promise. Complete a task. Cross off that one thing you've been avoiding for 2 weeks. The dopamine rush that follows? That's real motivation. That's your mind saying, we're doing it. We're becoming who we said we'd be. Create a rhythm. Don't wait for a spark. Motivation is fleeting. It's like the weather. But rhythm? Routine? That's your daily drumbeat. Design light these late. Build a system so that your action isn't a question. It's a default. Morning writing session, afternoon workout, evening reading. Not up for debate. Just part of who you are now. Once you train yourself to act without needing to feel like it, you become unstoppable. Final thought. Don't wait to feel ready. You won't. I've launched companies, made investments, had kids, fired people, walked away from 7-figure deals, all while not feeling ready. Readiness is a myth. Momentum is real. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more time. You don't need the stars to align. You need to take action, now. Focus on yourself. It's not selfish. It's self-responsibility. A truth I had to learn the hard way, after giving too much of myself to the wrong things. There was a time in my life when the idea of focusing on myself felt wrong. Selfish, arrogant, maybe even cold. I was raised with the belief that good people give, sacrifice, serve. So I gave, and I gave, and I gave until I had nothing left inside. And that's when it hit me. You can't pour into others if your cup is empty. You are responsible for you, no one else. Let me say this plainly. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you your dream. No one will take better care of your life than you will. You can outsource your accounting. You can delegate tasks to your assistant, but you cannot outsource your growth. You cannot delegate your energy Your mental clarity, your peace. That's on you. Always has been, always will be. It's not selfish to protect your time, your energy, your peace. It's wise. The people who get the most out of life are not the ones who try to be everything to everyone. They're the ones who learn to say no without guilt, yes with intention, and not now with power. They know that. Every yes to someone else is a no to themselves. Every people-pleasing habit is a slow death to personal purpose. Every moment spent reacting is a moment taken from creating. If you're constantly available to everyone, you eventually become available to no one, not even yourself. Your health, your mindset, your focus, they are your foundation. I've built businesses, led teams, closed deals in 10 countries, but none of that matters when I'm mentally exhausted, emotionally scattered, or spiritually burnt out. I used to think being busy was a badge of honor. Now I see it for what it is, a mask that covers up disconnection from what truly matters. That's why I stopped glorifying overwork. I stopped chasing people who drained me. I stopped doing things that weren't aligned with my values, because every time I betrayed myself to be liked, accepted, or successful, I lost a little more of what made me me. Focusing on yourself is the highest form of responsibility. When you invest in yourself, your growth, your boundaries, your healing, you show up for life at a whole new level. You become a better parent, a better leader, a better creator. Means over lives. Taking care of you isn't selfish. It's what allows you to give your best to others. The world doesn't need more burnt-out, bitter, overcommitted people. It needs people who are grounded, clear, whole. And that starts with you. Protect your space, audit your inputs, reclaim your direction. If you're feeling drained, stuck, or off track, it's time to check what's flowing into your life. Who are you giving your time to? What kind of content are you consuming? Are your conversations lifting you or lowering your standards? You are not a machine, you are a system, and systems require maintenance, clarity, and protection. So protect your space, choose what gets your energy, choose what earns your attention, and remove what steals your peace. Say no more often so your yes can have power again. You don't need to explain your boundaries. You don't need to justify rest. You don't need permission to prioritize yourself. Saying no to what drains you is how you say yes to your potential. The more you practice this, the more powerful your presence becomes. You walk into rooms with clarity. You speak with intention. You act with conviction. Because you're not spread thin. You're focused. Final thought. The world doesn't need more of you. It needs the real you. You don't owe anyone a watered-down version of yourself. You don't need to apologize for choosing your growth, your healing, your focus. Focus on yourself, not because you don't care about others, but because you care enough not to show up halfway. This is your life, your energy, your purpose. Protect it, cultivate it, own it. Create a vision and live by it every single day, because drifting is the default and direction is your greatest power. Let me start by saying this. If you don't have a clear vision for your life, you are being used by someone else's. Someone's vision for their company, their brand, their goals, their drama. You're reacting to the world instead of shaping it. I spent the first 10 years of my adult life running hard in the wrong direction. Busy? Yes. Productive? I thought so. But intentional? Not even close. I said yes to things that looked good on paper. I pursued what others told me was success. I let money, status, and noise make decisions for me. And I woke up one day with a full schedule and an empty soul. It wasn't until I got brutally honest with myself that things changed. I asked one question that turned my life around. What kind of life do I actually want to live? Your vision is not a dream, it's a commitment. This isn't about fantasies. It's not a mood board or a pretty quote on your wall. It's about declaring, in detail, what kind of life you refuse to settle for less than. How do you want to feel every day? Who do you want to become? What kind of impact do you want to leave behind? A clear vision turns someday into step one. It turns confusion into direction. It turns burnout into purpose. Your vision gives meaning to sacrifice. People think discipline is about self-control. That's only half the story. Real discipline is driven by devotion to a bigger picture. You think I enjoy getting up early when I'm exhausted? You think I love turning down quick wins for long-term bets? No, but I do it, because I know what I'm building, and that vision pulls me forward on the days motivation disappears. Without vision, sacrifice feels like suffering. With vision, sacrifice becomes sacred. Most people aren't lazy, they're lost. They scroll all day, procrastinate, start and stop 100 things. Why? Because they don't know where they're going. They haven't created a North Star to align their choices with. But when you have a vision, a real one, you wake up with fire in your bones. You stop asking, what do I feel like doing today? You start asking, what would the future version of me do today? That one question will change your life. Live as if the vision is already true and work backwards. Let's say your vision is to become a world-class author. How would that person wake up? How would they structure their morning? What would they say yes to? And what would they say no to? Now take those behaviors and act on them before you feel ready. You don't wait until the vision arrives. You become the person who brings it to life through your daily choices. You don't get the vision and then become the person. You become the person, and then the vision comes true. Review your vision often. Let it evolve, but never forget it. Write it down. Say it out loud. See it in your mind's eye. Let it shape how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what you tolerate. And remember, a vision without daily alignment is just a fantasy. But a vision lived daily becomes a reality, brick by brick. Final thought. If you don't define your life, someone else will. Your calendar, your energy, your focus, they are precious real estate. Don't lease them out to things that don't fit the future you're building. Create your vision. Write it like a contract. Sign it with your actions. And every morning ask yourself, what would the person I'm becoming do today? Then go do it.